Hey, I actually had a request for a video, so happy to oblige. Someone wrote and said that they had the exact same lathe and they were having trouble getting it into back gear operation. So they just want to see how I did it. First thing, I think it's probably a good idea with anybody's lathe, but particularly with mine, I got it unplugged. The reason is you're going to be sticking your fingers down inside of the gears, and with my lathe in particular, somebody, I don't think this would be the factory setup, somebody mounted this drum switch on the cover here. And it's an old sloppy switch to begin with. I mean, that could easily fall in, and as you turn it back, you could easily imagine it being turned on accidentally. So, yeah, I think probably a good idea for anybody's lathe to do this, mine in particular. Do it. So first thing you got to do when you're going to put it in the back gear is, and I'm actually going to move the camera. I was thinking this would be the best angle, but what I wanted to show from this angle was down in there, the actual back gear itself. Is that visible? I might have to move the camera in order for you to see that. At least zoom in. See what you got here. Can you see that? Alright, I'm back. So, down in there, that gear down there on the bottom is what you're going to be moving with your lever. So down, now it's in regular operation. Up. Like that, it's in back gear. And that only works if this guy has been disengaged from here, which is done with the little thumb knob over on this side. So I'll move the camera around, but I just wanted to show that's the thing that you're moving with this knob down here. And it's nowhere near as obvious with this Atlas 12 as it is with, say, the old 10 that I had, where the back gear was this thing on the back that you actually had a lever, you pulled it down, and you saw the mechanism coming across. So there's a gear down there. It's mounted by it's connected by a shaft to this big gear over here. That's all the back gear. This is connected. So when you raise it up, you're connecting this to this. Through a reduction from a larger gear here to a smaller gear there. Whereas when it's not in back gear, and it's because these two are connected through this reduction mechanism here that these have to be separated. Because when it's not in back gear, you just want to drive directly across this train here off of the belt. In back gear, the belt is driving this drives this, comes down, drives this, so these have to be disconnected. So first part of putting in the back gear is to disconnect. That's two. Alright, so to disconnect this gear from this one, you have to rotate the whole assembly until, and actually this has already been done. This was in back gear before. So let me let's say we want to put it back into normal operation. You've got to press on this until you find the detent that locks into. And now that that's locked in, this is all one solid assembly. And when you're ready to take it, put it into back gear, you've got to get that out, and that usually requires some wiggling. And that's one thing I should say about pretty much everything in this whole situation is that I need some lube. Oftentimes you will find yourself needing to wiggle these gears to get things to line up the way they need to do. It's not like a fully synchronized automotive transmission or anything like like that. It's just these, you know, straight gears, and you got to get them to line up. That counts. That holds true for the quick change gearbox as well. So, all right, so we've got that. This is now separate, and I really do need to lube that, so I'm going to do that before I do any operations. This is separate, so now we're ready to bring that back gear assembly up. So now you have this knob here, and this doesn't work the way you might think. You might think, okay, pull it, it's done, or move it down, or whatever. It's a feel thing. It's connected to, see if there's a good, yeah, you can get a good visual on it. Hang on, I'm going to move the camera again. Alright, so you see that linkage arm down there? It actually pivots before it engages that, or it engages that shaft on a pivot. It's not a direct link. So there's a little bit of this kind of motion where it comes out and up. It's not just a ka-chunk, it's like that. So to bring it up, you're doing that. Let me widen out here. You're pulling out and lifting up. And a lot of times, you know, it won't just nice and smoothly do it. You kind of have to wiggle it, and moving this can help. So it's you just don't want to force anything. When it goes, it's nice and smooth, but it might not go on the first try. See how the thing is just sort of spinning a little bit as I play with it. It's finding a good joint. There we go. See? So if yours is not just immediately going into gear, don't get frustrated. Just keep on messing with it, and it'll eventually find its way in. So just don't force it, and eventually it will. So once that's in, okay, you're in back gear. This is now connected down through there to here, driven by the belts. That's back gear. To remove it, reverse the operation, take that gear off. This is now floating freely, so if you were to engage the motor, this would just spin and nothing would happen here, or if it did, it would just be from friction, and you wouldn't really have an effective lathe at that moment. You're not going to have an effective lathe again until you put the little detent button, or the little button into its detent. We're back there. And now we're back in normal operations. So you have the direct drive from the motor through the belt to the shaft. Hope that helps somebody. All right, one other little point here, real quick. You know, I mentioned that this thing was in need of lubrication. I could tell when I was hand turning it. This is how you lubricate the back of your mechanism. At least this linkage here. What you're doing is providing lubrication for this to spin freely on the overall shaft assembly there. Probably put some more on it, but just check that for now. Let's see if that has done what I want it to do. So you don't want to tighten this too much. A lot of people with all of these lathes, the 10s, the 12s, even the 6-inch that I had earlier, will mistake this for a set screw that's supposed to be, you know, tightened all the way down. No, this is just an oil cap. So let me find my little button again. Oh, I had it. There it is. Disengage that. Let's see if we're getting anything better. Yeah, it feels a little better now. Yeah, alright. Okay, so I'll go ahead and plug it in now, and I will show you the difference between back gear and not back gear. Alright, so this is normal lathe operation, so this the back gear is down. And I'm going to break my rule here and carefully reach in, disconnect that. So now this is floating freely, so if I were to turn the motor on, the spindle's not turning. So I have to bring that back gear up into play, and I can't hold a light hand show you this. Hold on, put this down. So what I often do is I'll end up just sort of wiggling this, and it'll nicely find its way in. So click, got everything all together, and now this is back gear. Reverse procedure, take it out of gear, and now this runs freely again, so you need to reconnect it. So you're pressing on this while turning, and I'll keep an eye on that switch back there. Now it's reconnected, back in normal operation. There you go.